Hi, Vern. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And how's everything going for you?
Things are going well. Busy
good.
time of the year.
All right, Vern, Kurt, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
We can't hear you guys yet, so we're gonna ask you to talk again in a minute.
Okay.
Where's Samara?
I don't know, it's a good question.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yes,
Yes?
I heard a yes.
Oh, I heard,
All right.
Kurt can hear you.
Hey.
and we
Okay,
could
hold
hear
on. I have
Kurt.
Samara to let in and Debbie.
You say yes.
Yeah, here comes Samara and, oh, look at that picture, that's cool. Okay, we are live streaming, so we can start anytime. It's
Okay.
6:59, but
So we'll call the meeting to order.
yeah.
And can we all rise for the pledge of allegiance, please? Flag of the United States of America.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Okay. I think, is Gail still a member? I'm a little confused on that.
Not technically, but she was willing to stay on until we got somebody. And so I think now that we have Jean, we're just down, well, we're gonna be down two here shortly, but I think we're. I
But
think
we don't
she-
need to be excusing Gail.
I think we can just not even call on her at this point. I think she'll join if she can. Until we fill in.
Okay. Okay. Well, can you lead us through the roll call? Would you mind doing that?
Commissioner Hope,
Here.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Here.
Commissioner Tadjet,
Here.
Commissioner Hayden,
Here,
Commissioner Gabriel,
Here.
Commissioner McLarnin,
Here.
Commissioner Welch,
here,
Commissioner Frederick,
Here.
Commissioner Rasmussen,
Here,
Commissioner Ives. Let me make sure you saw.
Okay, I think
No, I
we're
don't see
we're
Ives.
all here except for Commissioner Ives, so can I have a motion to excuse him?
So moved. Second.
Motion's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
hi,
Hey, Kelly, this is the first time I've done a Zoom in a long time for the meeting. Are we supposed to be able to see you? I just see that
Oh, gosh.
your screen says City Lake Stevens.
See, I'm gonna on Caitlin anyway. Okay, there we go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Debbie. Good catch.
I know.
Okay, I don't think there's anyone for public comment.
No, we have a public comment. Not online.
Okay. I'll move on to approval of the minutes. We did note, Kelly's made an update on page 3. It just should say October 7th or October, whatever, the 3rd. For the first set of meeting minutes, and then the second set of meeting minutes is correctly labeled November 7th. Those are the only changes I saw. Does anyone have any other adjustments they want to?
We should put the minutes with the scrivener's errors. The scrivener's errors change.
I don't know what that means, sorry.
Just a typo
Oh, okay.
on both sets.
Yes.
So, you want to make a motion? Oh, that was, I'll second. So motion's been made and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
hi,
Anyone opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Now, before we move into the regular part of the meeting, I I think this is gonna be the last meeting I chair. I'm gonna maybe in January or today, I forget how it works, but it's time for new officers and so I just wanted to take a minute to thank Sean, because I know he's moving to parts unknown, better places. And so I'll just say, I think probably a lot of other people know Sean a lot better than I do, but everything I pretty much dug into here, I found whether it was how this foundation worked that we got started, or the Purple Heart proclamation, or business recognition stuff. Pretty much everything I dug into had Sean's fingerprints all over. So I think, the 80-20 rule kind of applies to a lot of things, and Sean's definitely one of those people that does 80% of the work and is in that 20% of the people group. So from some of the things I did volunteering at the Medical Reserve Corps, I got to see what Sean gets paid to do in the health organization, and I think the city is losing a lot. And I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of myself and all of these other people who probably don't know half or tenth of what you've done for the city. So thanks.
Thank you.
I guess I'll leave it at that. If anyone else, I'm sure Sean's going to hang around and we can say our hellos and goodbyes and all the other stuff in between. So let's move on to the regular discussion, and adopt a highway is up first. Any updates?
I have not heard anything in the last month or so. Samara, do you have anything?
No updates. The last thing I did was I sent the email to let them know we would be teaming up with the other half of 204 in April and July. Other than that, there hasn't been anything else.
Mommy?
That's a good update, Samara, because I don't think we knew the date. So maybe can we try to get something, when the weather breaks, like March-ish, so that we can make sure that the group's ready?
Yeah, I can do that.
Cool. Thank you. Okay.
I move the adopt a highway action item down to activities on hold until March.
1 second. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, business recognition. We may be in a similar place to entertain a similar motion, in that we can move forward at any time, but at this point, there's really no queue of businesses that have been identified that are pending action. So I don't have anything new there. I know Dennis was thinking of nominating his business, but he's not here tonight to speak to that. So I have nothing more to add for that.
We've discussed it at the chamber to try to get the chamber involved in finding these businesses. So we've just stood back up our ambassador program. And so hopefully when we get the ambassadors out, we'll be able to ask the questions and see if we can find some of those types of businesses, make sure we can get them recognized. So chamber will try to help out with that.
I know Kevin Covington, I've reached out to him a couple of times, left him a message, and he hasn't gotten back to me.
Okay.
So.
Okay, then let's move on to the survey. I think that's probably where we'll spend the bulk of our time. You all should have a copy of the interim report in your docket. I'm going to, I'll speak to that and then open it up for Debbie and Jean to add to it. Because to me, there's three things that I'm hoping to impress upon everyone here today. And the first is that there's 2 weeks left. So we're planning to have another news flash. We'll follow that up with social media. But it's really incumbent on all of us to think about how can we get the word out to veterans that we know, veterans in the community, because every response we get has got good information with it so far. So I'll say personally, I'm fairly disappointed in the volume of the response we've gotten so far. I think that was maybe unrealistic expectations on my part. So I'll just put it like that. But there's good quality suggestions in what the feedback we're getting. So if we can put a push on the next 2 weeks, I think we can all be satisfied with what we've got. The next thing I wanted to just mention, trying to summarize this for everyone, is that there's a couple of trends that are pretty clear. Family-oriented events are by far what people are interested in. And the focus is on helping veterans with benefits, not just VA benefits, but local benefits. And then following up with that is having more social and support events, really to help get our name out there. Because that's the other big message that came forward is after 5 years, the bulk of the community still doesn't know we exist. So that's our challenge. As you'll see when we do the final report next month, there's a lot of good detailed feedback to help us take those next steps. Okay, so diving into sort of the prepared document here. As you can see on page 2, sorry, I'm in a separate journey. I'm not sure what page it is, and it's probably page 2. 85% of the respondents lived in Lake Stevens or in a surrounding community. With the Lake Stevens zip code. 91% came from households with veterans, right? So we hit the audience we wanted, and clearly the big issue going on to chart 2 was financial issues, affordability. The number came in at 50%, but it was really 60% because some of the other comments said things like taxes, inflation, which are really affordability issues. So the number really there is 60% said that was their biggest issue impacting their quality of life. Again, moving on to where they wanted focus, 70% said veterans and families.
We're on the top of page 10.
Yeah, chart 3. And senior veterans was behind the second most popular with 43%.
What was the demographic of the senior veterans? Do we know? Was that just the post here? Was that the bulk of the post responding to that, or
we don't know. So the survey, that's a good question. So the survey is anonymous, and all we can see the individual responses to the extent of where they said, do they live in Lake Stevens, but we didn't ask any deeper demographics than that, other than are they a veteran or active duty, or both. Okay, so the next question, which again was interesting, was, and this one was consistent. I should talk a little bit about it's at the end, but I'll interject it here. So question 5, which is chart number 4 and page 4 of the I believe my page 11 of the, sorry, I should be end of this
Page 10.
It's still in the bottom of page 10.
Thank you. Sorry for the confusion. Question 5 was really sort of the meat and potatoes one of what programs do you want to see? And that's where we were concerned with, well, if we show them the same list of programs we're already doing, we're just going to get the same garbage in, garbage out kind of feedback loop. So we ran a focus group prior to finalizing the questions, and we got 12 people to respond to an open-ended question. We said, what would you like to see for programs from the Veterans Commission? And interestingly, it supported that we were on the right track. the vast majority of people wanted to see, programs that help VA benefits, when they added in local benefits as well. And then they talked about support and social groups, they added in the words caregiver support for several of the respondents. So we adjusted our questions a little bit to line up to the feedback we got. But I would say that the main takeaway was both the focus group and so far the 60 responses we've gotten identified, 2 to 1. The top thing is helping navigate VA benefits.
I think that's always been what our priority was. We were trying to get a service support person to be in and do that. COVID kind of wrecked that a little bit.
Right.
And it's been tough, but I think that was what our focus is supposed to have been the whole time. And transitioning, trying to find career fairs or transition for, that's been my focus on this.
Yep. Well, I think that comes through loud and clear right now what people are telling us.
The only thing I wish we had a little bit more information on was age groups. Even if you didn't ask for a specific age, but you would say a range, just so we could see if,
Yeah, that would have been a good question.
if there was a large demographic of people who were, I don't know, just for the sake of a number, 60 plus.
Right.
And they were all talking about, transit or, caregiver support and so forth. We would know that we have, just for the sake of a number, 10, 20 people who are really looking for caregiver support. It would help us reach out to that demographic and say, here's what we know, here's what we can do. Because there's a great group down in Yelm. Remember when we were at Association of Washington Cities?
Right.
And there's a group down in Yelm that really has got a lot of work going, which I hope that was something we can piggyback with them on it. But they know a lot of benefits, a lot of things as well. And it would be good for us to partner with them, I think.
What's really interesting about that group is they have an embedded VSO.
Yeah.
And after what we've learned about the VSO, I'm wondering how that worked. I mean, did they get it from the county? Because it would have to be their county.
It's maybe they're counting, or maybe that group is getting funded. Maybe there's some support from the legislature for it, and I'm sure there is dollars out there for it.
Yes. I mean, the county does have some veteran focused resources in their human services department.
Well, as
Right,
we know,
I mean, it's the county, it's only, I think Deb has a little bit more information on this, so I think only the county can have a VSO, right? Is that right?
It was county, state or federal, I believe, in
Okay.
regards to funding for that. It didn't go to the city level at all.
Yeah, so in other words, we can't hire a VSO, they have to be county employees.
Right, they gotta be funded.
State.
Or if there's someone who's just like a group that.
right, they've got to be affiliated with a group that's. So without diving into that, because if we get funding, I'm sure we can hire a VSO somewhere, whether it's through the county or.
What do you mean, like a veterans group, like?
Yeah, or I was thinking of like the VA, I'm sorry, the American Legion or something like that. There's organizations, national organizations that have VSOs.
Well, if we have a grant writer for the city, maybe we can look at the grant writer working on trying to get us or the county or get some funding.
Right, what we know is that the county has 4 VSOs, including the lead. And the lead and 3 other people. So the minutes that we just published from last month that we just approved has the link to the director of the county for that group. I believe they're contracted, but again, that's sort of going in the rabbit hole for where we are today.
I definitely don't want to take away from the report because it does let us know that we're on the right track.
Yeah, I think what will help is when we get the final report, I didn't want to put so much in here that we didn't read the final report because we still got a couple weeks to go. But there's a lot of good suggestions that the people have that submitted survey responses to say these are the kind of things that we'd like to see. So there are some fairly specific suggestions that I think deserve some consideration. Okay. That's really all I had. I guess the last thing is if we scroll down under other findings, excuse me. Almost a third so far of the respondents have expressed interest in either learning more about us or helping volunteer. So again, that's good feedback and something I hope that the commission spends some time thinking about how we can leverage these people to help us. My plan is that we'll send that list, I'll send it to Kelly to send out directly, rather than putting it, we don't want to put their email addresses in the final report or anything like that, but all the commissioners should have.
We have their email address.
Yeah.
From this. This is a great way for us to reach out and say, here's how to get involved.
Right. Okay, and then just for everyone's awareness, at the end is the actual feedback we got from the focus group. That we had 12 people respond to. Debbie, let me point to you first. Anything you want to add or amplify or?
No, I too, I don't know what percentage of 1% of a response rate we've gotten so far. It is a little discouraged with that too. Kevin, wasn't there a benchmark? Didn't you say there was a benchmark for surveys on what's normally replied to? Or because we sent out, I don't have it in front, was it 850 or 900?
Yeah, 975 was the county constitution.
That's right, yeah. Plus all the social push, because we were getting responses before those postcards went out via the social. But 60 out of 975 plus is a little discouraging. But I did send information to Kelly to get that back out. We'd like to have it in the city's flash, and then also on their we can review. So hopefully we can get that out there and then push it everywhere else we can socially.
Yeah, right now we're running at 2% response from the mailer, which from different things I've looked at the internet, some studies talk about 0.5 to 2% is about average. Others say it should be more like 4%, but everything I've read, no one's saying like 20-30% response rate from direct mail.
Okay, thank you.
The focus group people, the 12 focus group, do we know who they are?
Yes, so not all of them, it was optional, but they're included in the list. So we've got 20 plus from the survey and about, I think, 8 or so from the focus group that have said they're willing to be contacted.
Yeah, we need to tell them about the 2 vacancies we have.
Well, that, and there's a couple things on the focus group input that I'd like to be able to go and talk to them about. I mean, the one about the affordable housing, tiny houses. There's another one in here that talked about what was it? Stop focusing on active duty only. It's like,
yeah, that was a lot.
okay, so I need to talk to you because that's not what we're focused on. So there's a couple of other ones in there that I'd like to talk about because there's a couple things in here that make a lot of sense, but I'm wondering how they think that would work.
Right. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that I'm just trying to think through this. When I send out the specific feedback, if we can tie it to the person's name, I'll put like a reference. So we're not putting their name and email on the stuff that would be public content, but a way for us to reference the cross-reference.
This is good stuff.
It is, and if on the plus side, if we had 500 responses, it would be very hard to go through all these individual comments with any rigor. So maybe it's a blessing.
I know on page 11, the very last bullet, get together soon in potlucks, get to know the vets in the area. And that worked well.
No way.
That worked really well. I like the one response about on the 12. They said, I've never heard of you. I've lived here over 8 years. It's like, yeah, I don't know what to do.
Gene, anything you want to add to?
My expectations were high as well for response rate. However, even with the modest amount that we have, there's still a lot of information, and it's dovetails in with everything that I've seen proposed or worked on in the past, and they want more. Or there is some opportunity to do something that's a little bit outside of the norm. When we go forward and try to implement a couple of these recommendations, I would suggest a blending, not solely only on the benefits, but also maybe some other activity that will bring in a sort of a good crowd into the mix.
Right.
But otherwise, we did a tremendous effort here to try to get as many responses we can. We got what we got, but it still trends to what I was expecting to see. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions? I know it's all good. And again, I want to give everyone a taste of what we're getting back so that hopefully we can get a good push the last couple of weeks. And then we'll review it in January.
I think the thing that you see most clearly identified in the survey is the need for access to services. And we didn't necessarily need the survey to know that. It's always been a priority of ours since this started.
Right.
In regards to the other part, where there's sort of this ongoing, we've never heard of you, we don't know you're there, we don't know you exist. The only way to get past that is to do events that will naturally draw large amounts of people. And the challenge there is the chicken and egg, right? It takes resources to hold an event. You need the event to get the resources. So there has to be a focus on identifying the resources. Who are the partners that have resources that we can put together the event? And we've had lots of ideas come and go over the past, right? We've wrestled with the idea of having a 5K. We've wrestled with having a job fair to help with transition. We've talked about other opportunities. I think what's important to note is that there are already models out there of veteran-focused organizations that are only focused on access to resources, be they VA claims or veteran services officers or some of those more conventional veteran gathering scenarios. All those organizations are struggling. And we have stuck to those conventional sort of ideas and we continue to struggle. I think as the group moves forward, there are open spots on the commission already. Obviously, I create another open spot with my pending departure. I think what is really needed is identifying those veterans that have that lens and passion, or those veteran-oriented citizens to come in that have the ability, the desire, the passion to make those connections, to be able to get to those sort of activities that create a broader opportunity for us to have the flagpole out there, as it were. I think that's what's missing. And once you get there, you have those family-oriented events, you have more name recognition, and ultimately you start building momentum through those partnerships to get additional access to those resources.
I would say having COVID for the last 2 years has really put a dent.
Oh, yeah.
Building.
No doubt.
We haven't had the fair out here. We haven't had opportunities. Everything's been kind of online. We also get hurt. We don't have a local newspaper to broadcast it in. That doesn't help us at all. But I think this upcoming year I don't know, there seems like there's another outbreak or something, another going on. Hopefully at some point we'll start getting those things back where we can set up a booth or job fairs or stuff that we can sit in on, and have a little bit of information out there.
It's Sudan anthrax.
Is that what it is now?
Yes.
Sweeping in the air.
I have to say, Sean, there's some parts about, not hearing from you, and that might be good, I don't need to hear much today on anthrax.
Well, we also have, monkeypox, flu, and COVID on the rise, but today was anthrax.
Okay. And
Not anthrax, Ebola. I'm sorry.
it was interesting. Some of the feedback talked about maybe partnering with some groups that, at least for me, were beyond what I was thinking, like groups in Snohomish and Monroe that have established connections with veteran groups, and maybe we could piggyback on some of the things they're doing to start to get some of that recognition. So interesting stuff, and I agree, it is a chicken and an egg. Okay, anyone else have any feedback or comments? All right, then moving along. Newsletter, there's, it went out. There's nothing really planned at this point, so we can skip over it. And move to partner network. Kurt, I'll jump in here. I don't know if you have anything, but I'll just say, this is an area that I think we need to have a little discussion going forward next year. I think it's really important. We just talked about this is how we make connections and get momentum. I'll say that I haven't really done much with it this year, right? So I would encourage anyone that might be interested to kick me off the list and get involved, because I think our partners could have helped us more with the survey, but I can't blame our partners. I have to blame myself for not engaging enough with our partners that they were invested. So I'll just leave it there for now. It's a critical thing, and I certainly will be the first to admit I didn't give it enough time this year.
Do we have a list of partners?
No, quite honestly.
I think we do.
What was that, Kurt?
No, I don't believe we do either. I think it was something we wanted to develop, and we put it on the agenda, but like Kevin said, it's just a little bit more time intensive than we were able to give it in 22. Doesn't mean that we can't come up with a action plan for 23 that maybe just includes more people or everyone, or we just revamp it or rethink it. But it's definitely worthy, and Kevin's right. If we're going to do these things and try to do it a little bit differently, as Commissioner Frederick suggests, then yeah, we're going to have to rethink that.
So one of the things I think we could do around this is go ahead and reach out to that group in Lacey, like Marcus was talking about. Get back with them again, because we really never did get back with them again.
Never did.
Yeah, it was really a cool thing down at AWC that year, but we can just reach out to the Lacey group again and see if we can, partner with them a little bit, pick their brains and see what they're doing down there to keep in touch. And then
AWC happening this year?
Yeah, we're gonna be in February. So I'm going in February. I don't know if they'll be there, but I'll be down there. So I think it would be in our minutes of who that was.
I think we should go down and see if that group's down there and it's been, dinner with them or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind stopping in the day before we go, on our way down there, stopping in there and talking to them.
Kelly, do we already have that already booked?
It's the action page.
Yeah.
Caitlin's working on it. Have you told her you want to go?
I haven't been asked.
Oh.
Yeah, she sent it on an email there.
Send an email. Okay. I'll let her know you're interested. She can follow.
What is AWC? I just don't know that.
So the Association of Washington Cities has
Okay.
legislative days down in Olympia every year when they're in session. So it's a conference. AWC puts it on. So there's a little bit of training involved. There's some, different things happening. They come in and talk. Their AWC's brings in their people to talk about what bills are going on, et cetera, et cetera. And then we go to the Hill and talk to our legislators about the city business. But a few years ago, when we were just getting started in the commission, we were down in AWC, and one of the trainings was a veterans group that was in Lacey. It was doing really, really well. And they were getting all kinds of funding and stuff like that. So we were going to reach out to them. I don't think we ever get it though. So that's one of those things I think maybe we got.
But when we were together in 2020,
yeah,
just before the outbreak in March.
Right. Yeah. It's road trip. Let's go. So I think we'll try to reach out to them again. I'll get back in the minutes and see. I can't remember the guy's name, but see if
I knew it was out of Yale, so.
2020, no, it was about 20, that might have been the 2018 legislative session.
Oh,
something like that.
Yeah, it was I think it was 2018. Because we were formed in 2017, I think it was the year after that.
Let's see, it was a couple years after that. It took us a while to even get up and going, even so.
Well, I was still on council, so it would have been 2018 or 19, one of the two.
All right, well, it's a good suggestion. If you guys can start that, that would be great, and we can figure out how to pick up the ball and move it. Moving on to Purple Heart City, I do have an update here. We are very close to being done. There's one sign left to do, that's down by the new Costco on Route 9 North. I want to thank Justin Evans again, who's the supervisor of streets for Public Works in the city. He promised me his guys are on it. They've got the sign now and they'll get it up this month. So hopefully we get together in January, we'll say this is done. We can cross it off the list and consider it complete. Before that though, you'll see at the last page of the packet, we've got an invoice that I would hope to have a motion to fund this for the 5 signs. And I guess I also just want to thank Maurice Terrell of Method Barricade for sort of going above and beyond on his day off and getting these signs for us.
You know, is there any agency or anyone that we work with who can get this out to the press? I mean, if we're trying to look for unconventional ways, why don't we say, you know, get a news media out to Q13 or someone else and say Lake Stevens becomes a Purple Heart City, and you know, sponsored by the Lake Stevens Veterans Commission. You know,
You can do an op-ed, right?
yeah,
At the Herald.
yeah. We just need something that our Lake Stevens people can see, and they'll go, "Oh, we're a Purple Heart City. I saw that. Who did that?"
You get Riley on it.
Should we go through Dawn for that, or what's the, I can get leave offline if that's simpler. Figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna help us with, you know, website, social media, but I could get something out to our.
Oh, okay.
Media.
Perfect.
So I'll want to follow.
Okay, great.
Along with, I like the idea of an op-ed. We should probably have more than the op-ed than we submitted to get the Purple Heart signs done. You know, there is, sure, we've made ourselves a Purple Heart City. There is the National Purple Heart Trail. There's a larger body of work. We've got a toehold. We talk about those opportunities to make ourselves more visible. It's a great opportunity to challenge the county to become part of the Purple Heart system. It's an opportunity to challenge our neighboring cities to lead that collaborative effort. And then you have a much more enriching op-ed other than what beyond one city simply accomplishing this task. Because most of this task was getting the signs made. Becoming part of the Purple Heart City itself was actually pretty straightforward. So I think there's more we can do as part of daylighting this to make it more beneficial for the commission.
So you want to have a motion for paying this invoice?
That would be great. Yeah.
I move that we pay the invoice for barricading, Method Barricading Construction Supply for the Purple Heart signs, $186.17.
Second.
We have a motion made second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to activities on hold. Is there anything that anyone wants to raise on any of these topics?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Veteran Services Officer support. Food bank is going up. We have offices there for there's what they're calling there's an office set aside for people to go in for day office. And that's what we have wanted for the VSO to do. I'm gonna go contact the county to talk about those VSOs and find out if we can get them committed to coming in once a week or once every other week or something to that office. I've heard rumors that what's the organization that's supposed to go into there? It's doing our community center.
The
you know,
VOA.
BOA. I've heard rumors that BOA is not going to sign the lease to go into that building. It's just a rumor at this point. I don't know what's really going on. I really do want to state it's a rumor. And that's what was supposed to happen. So I don't know what's going on there, but those offices are still going to be there no matter whether we have somebody to run them or not. But that might be something else that we're going to need to look at and run, see how it's really on our task list to get going. But I'm going to go ahead and we'll talk to the person at the county to find out if we can get VSO office hours over there when we do get the offices done and make sure, I want to get them on board now. So we're getting it finished. And then we'll try to figure out what's going on with the VOA or who else is going to be in there to do those kinds of things. So I don't know. Like I said, it's a rumor. I just found out today. I don't know how credible it is, but I'm just looking at, we may have a problem, you know. So that's the only thing I'm gonna bring up on activities on hold. Looking forward to the rest of what we get over here. Something like that goes on right now.
And what is VOA?
Volunteers of America.
I know it different.
Sorry. Yeah, they're running our community resources center right now in Lake Stevens.
Oh.
We used to call it family center.
Yep.
So they're doing that now under contract with the city. And they were supposed to go in there, but like I said, the rumor is they're not gonna do it. And I think it revolves around the food bank. It's a lease agreement.
Mm,
It's their building.
Excuse me. Okay, thank you. That's a good update. Moving on to new business. Does anyone have anything?
Really more of an announcement than anything else. And it's related to the foundation. I'm currently listed as the responsible officer for the foundation. The foundation right now is overdue for its annual report of its board and
To the state.
to the state.
Okay.
To the state. It's not in imminent danger of being dissolved. However, it currently does not have 501c3 status through the IRS.
I've got the paperwork almost complete for that.
Okay. Based on the current charter of the foundation, and it could certainly be changed, and I wouldn't be opposed to staying involved. But right now there needs to be a new at least one new responsible officer identified to take over the foundation, just to make sure that everything stays current with its existing bylaws and articles of incorporation.
I have somebody in mind for that.
Okay.
I'll reach out to Todd Welch, who has expressed wanting to get the foundation up and running really well in the past. So I'll reach out to Todd Welch, or maybe Debbie could reach out. You know Todd, right?
I think I might know him, yeah.
So we might be able to get Todd Welch to be the responsible party on that,
Okay.
because I'm already on there. Marcus is already on there.
Yep. You're on the board. You're on the board. Samara's on the board. I'm on the board.
Okay, good update.
Can I ask, can I add to that real quick? Can I ask, because I don't know, has there been any recruiting happening? Are you to the point where you're trying to recruit other members that aren't actually part of the commission?
No,
Okay.
there is room for one Debbie Welch.
Then there's one less commissioner at that point. I can't do them both. I'm on the Education Foundation too. I'm starting to get a little thin. Thin in mind only, unfortunately, but yeah.
No. Okay, anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Can I just
I heard.
comment, January 2nd is the next
Oh,
meeting,
thank you,
and
yeah,
it's a holiday. So I think we can go January 9th.
we go January 9th?
Yeah, are
Does that
you-
work for everyone?
You could be here for that meeting?
Yeah, I'm gonna be here till we close out this survey thing.
Okay, so January 9th,
And I think we would elect new officers on the 9th.
sure. January 9th, you just want to come as a public.
I will do everything I can to attend January 9th.
Okay.
You know, we've never had anyone for the public comment, so you know, that would be.
That's actually not true.
That's not quite true.
At the very beginning, we do.
There's not many.
See, I'm just not old enough. Okay, I think I heard a motion to adjourn. Did I hear a second?
Second.
Hey, motion made in second. All in favor, say aye.
All right. Happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Congratulations, Sean, you will be missed.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just moving. I'm not dying.
Oh, no,
It's the same thing, Sean.
but we won't see you at the brewery anymore.
January 1st, so you can't be on it,
No, I think we missed one.
but it could be on a foundation.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna.
can be